The Marcellus Shale, stretching from southern New York through Pennsylvania and parts of West Virginia and Ohio, is a black shale formation long known to hold an abundance of natural gas. That gas was essentially worthless, trapped in this thin mantle of rock with no effective way to extract it using conventional drilling methods. The formation was like a vault with no key. When landmen came calling to secure rights to property in Dimock, Pennsylvania in 2006, few people outside the industry had heard of the Marcellus. Residents had no way of knowing its worth to energy companies, which, with a series of breakthroughs pioneered in Texas, had found a key not only to the Marcellus fault, but to black shale reserves worldwide. The key involves the merging of two technologies. The first is a computer-guided technique that allows wellbores to be drilled a mile or more vertically to reach the depth of the shale, and then steered horizontally for another mile or more along the pay zone. The second technological breakthrough is high-volume hydraulic fracturing, or fracking for short. This entails injecting the bore with a mix of water, sand, and chemicals. The force of the liquid, exceeding 10,000 pounds per square inch, fractures the bedrock and releases gas. Where the water comes from, what stays in the ground, what comes back out of the ground, and where and how the waste is disposed of are all central questions to the controversy over shale gas development. Much is unknown or disputed, but there is this single fundamental fact at the core of the controversy. The industry has successfully argued the contents of fracking solutions is their private business. Accordingly, it has been granted exemptions from federal laws that require disclosing what it injects into the ground, as well as federal laws that govern the handling and disposal of hazardous waste. As the name suggests, high-volume hydraulic fracturing is water-intensive. The water is pumped from streams, rivers, aquifers, or municipal supplies. At 4 million gallons per well, 4,000 wells in Broome County would require 1.6 billion gallons of fresh water annually, about 64% of the total volume produced by the Wet Water Works of Binghamton, the largest city in the area. In addition to water and sand, hydraulic fracturing fluids contain unreported combinations and concentrations of chemical additives. They are used to kill bacteria, prevent corrosion, and inhibit the buildup of scale and deposit inside of pipes. Additionally, friction reducers are added to make the solution go further in tighter spaces deep in the ground. Some of these additives are caustic, poisonous, or explosive. They include alcohols and glycol ethers, petroleum distillates, aromatic hydrocarbons, and microbiocides. Some of the agents, such as glycol ethers, are common components of antifreeze. Microbiocides include dazomet, commonly used as a soil fumigation pesticide, and aromatic hydrocarbons contain benzene, toluene, and xylene, which are toxic and carcinogenic. In addition to what goes in, the controversy over shale gas development has a lot to do with what comes out and what remains indefinitely in the ground. The afterbirth of a successfully fracked well is called flowback. Flowback is composed of the unknown solutions that go in, plus millions of gallons of brine, metals, and naturally occurring radioactive material. These include chlorides, sulfates, and other ions that are natural and vital part of ecosystems. But when concentrated or redistributed through industrial processes, they can clog machinery, change the color, taste, and odor of drinking water, and throw natural systems fatally out of balance. Fully developing the Marcellus would require drilling more than 50,000 wells in Pennsylvania alone and tens of thousands of wells in the southern tier of New York, by some estimates. Some areas were more politically sensitive to the risks than others. When XTO Energy leased land to begin fracking in the Delaware Water Basin, the watershed that feeds New York City and Philadelphia, it triggered a chain of events that would fuel a national environmental movement. Sewage treatment plants, struggling to fund upgrades to meet federal discharge requirements that were growing more stringent by the year, were not equipped to test for, much less handle, the kind of waste coming from these wells.